In the small, forgotten village of Black Hollow, there was an unspoken rule: never step foot into the old Weatherby Manor. The decrepit house, sitting atop a hill shrouded by ancient oaks, had been abandoned for decades. Stories swirled about the place like the mist that never seemed to lift from its grounds. The villagers whispered of a sinister entity that resided within, a malevolent spirit that preyed on the living. For years, the manor remained untouched, its windows shattered and its doors hanging off their hinges. But one fateful autumn evening, curiosity got the better of year-old Clara. She had always been drawn to the macabre, her bedroom walls adorned with posters of horror films and bookshelves lined with tales of hauntings. When her best friend dared her to spend the night in Weatherby Manor, Clara couldn't resist the challenge. Armed with a flashlight and her phone, Clara set out at dusk. The air grew colder as she approached the manor, and the distant calls of crows seemed to grow quieter with every step. The iron gate creaked ominously as she pushed it open, the sound echoing into the stillness of the evening. The house loomed above her, its silhouette jagged and menacing against the crimson sky. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of mildew and decay. Clara's footsteps echoed on the warped wooden floors as she explored the entry hall, her flashlight casting long shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Dust motes danced in the beam of light, and the faint sound of dripping water echoed somewhere in the distance. She ventured deeper into the house, passing through rooms filled with broken furniture and forgotten relics of another era. A grand piano stood in the corner of one room, its keys yellowed and cracked. As Clara moved closer, a chill ran down her spine. The piano let out a single discordant note, though she hadn't touched it. "Probably just the wind," she muttered, her voice trembling. But deep down, she knew there was no wind inside the house. As the night wore on, Clara began to hear whispers. At first, they were faint, indistinct murmurs that seemed to come from the walls themselves. She tried to convince herself it was her imagination, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They spoke in a language she couldn't understand, their tone both mocking and threatening. Her flashlight flickered, and she slapped it in frustration. The light stabilized for a moment before dying completely, plunging her into darkness. Panic set in as she fumbled for her phone, its screen casting a feeble glow. She turned on the flashlight app and gasped. Standing at the far end of the room was a shadowy figure, its form tall and distorted, its face obscured by darkness. "Who's there?" Clara demanded, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure didn't move, but the whispers grew louder, now coming from every direction. She backed away, her heart pounding, and stumbled into a small table, knocking over a candle holder.